Marnus, thanks for joining us. Must be a really good feeling after big loss first up to hit back here in Adelaide.
Yeah, I mean, we've come here under a bit of pressure. Obviously, didn't play the way we wanted to in Perth, but one thing we know is everything down there as a team, we're very consistent, our processes, our belief in each other. And that's what was really pleasing this week. We came in potentially under a bit of pressure, but the way we went about it, the way we prepared, the confidence we all had in each other, and to come in, win on the morning of, the first session of day 3 and to go 1-1 to Brisbane.
Yeah, don't get back to the end of the Perth Test. Just from a personal point of view, Marnus, I heard you speak in the interview earlier about, really well about almost going back to basics and going back to what you know is works for you. Can you take me back to what you kind of were thinking at the end of the Perth Test?
Look, at the end of the Perth Test, I knew I wasn't really moving into the ball well. There was a lot of things I didn't like about how I played. The positives I took out is I somehow, with where my technique was and how I was playing, managed to last 60 balls out in the middle. So for me, it was like, that I took a lot from that, the ability that I've got to just find a way. But for me, the 10 days off was about trying to reconnect, moving into the ball, lining the ball up nicely and finding out where I was missing the link there. So it just, it was hitting day after day. It would have been 9 days straight. Just finding a way to get back to where I wanted to be. Looking at a lot of footage, talking to a few different people about how, I could find that, listening to a few different ideas and sort of then filtering that through, all the great people I have, my coaches and people to come up with an idea of how I was going to get there. And that was the journey that started on Tuesday. And I wanted to make sure that when I got here in Adelaide that I was able to really be in a position to trust it and go out there and play.
Who did you speak to?
There are too many people. I mean, a lot of people. I was trying to just get a gauge of different things. Obviously, my coach, as you know, Neil. I spoke to Diva. We spoke about the things I wanted to go away and work on. And then it was just about finding the method of how I was going to get that positioning back in, getting my head back down the ground, getting my weight back into the ball a little bit more. And, it took all week really to hit and, try and work on different things, find out if that worked and kind of keep filtering through until I found what I needed.
How difficult is it? You make all these changes. You're in the middle of a test series, I should add. Like, how hard is it to go from what you're doing in the nets to taking it out? The degree of difficulty batting here under lights is really high.
Yeah, I think, look, luckily the things I changed was more pre-ball. It's just my pre-ball setup, getting a better alignment there, getting my head position a little bit more forward. So they were all things that were probably before my trigger. And then, I've batted so many different ways over the last 4 or 5 years. So for me, it was just about getting an understanding of, okay, which way do I want to go back to? And then just reconnecting that with my new stance. So it wasn't as difficult as it may sound, but it was just for me to, like you said, find out, okay, I'm going to do this trigger, I'm going to set up like this and make sure I'm lining the ball up really well and get myself in a really good position.
It's a really great insight, and just batting with Nathan McSweeney on that first night. I mean, that was a really tough little period there. How good was it to kind of see him come through it as well?
Mate, honestly, I love playing with him. As you guys may know, but I've known him for a very long time. We trained a lot together when he was at Queensland. I've seen his ability. I always thought he was going to play for Australia, and I said that from a very young age. He just has the characteristics and the great learning, and he wants to be better each day, and I just love that about him. And I mean, you saw that grit come through. He's obviously a very talented player. He's very patient, understands his game really well, and for him to navigate probably could be his toughest task in Test cricket to get through that period. And unfortunately didn't cash in the morning, but it allowed our team to be able to cash in, and Travis obviously made an amazing 100.
I know you love, let's chat about Trav. I know you love kind of batting with him. I mean, I know you guys were doing it so hard under lights, but to see him come out, it's easy, but to score so quickly, you must be in awe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, like you said, we've set up like this for a long time. The ability to get Travis in through that 40 to 80 overs, he can absolutely take the game away. And we've seen Travis do it when he comes in early as well. But we just know that, he's so hard to bowl to when he's got that, when the ball's not shifting as much, his just ability to hit it everywhere. You can't bowl to him, and he's just a terrific player, and his record at this ground is just astonishing. So, mate, it was awesome to have the home boy at his home test put on an absolute spectacle for the crowd.
5 Test series are fascinating tactical battles. Like even a smile on your face, just kind of thinking about that. What does it look like in the Gabba? Do you expect India to target you, to target the rest of the top order differently?
I'm not sure. I mean, the thing with the 5 Test match series is it's very hard to play your same bowling attack for 5 tests. So, with a short turnaround, both teams are going to have to look at, okay, how are we going injury-wise, how the bowler's going. So there's so many different elements with the 5 Test match series, and tactically, you've got we got a few blows last week, and we came back, and now we've thrown a few blows, and the tactical battle of a 5 Test match series is so good to watch. So hopefully we can see that tactical battle unfold, and hopefully in the favour of obviously Australia.
And just finally, like you spoke about the tactical change you made here, I imagine that's conditions based as well, right? Because it's not going to bounce. It didn't bounce quite as much as Perth. Do you go back to something resembling what you were doing in Perth, or is it a bit of a mishmash?
I think in Perth, the way I was moving and a few things were just not in sync, so I wasn't able to get actually at the ball or push back into the ball. So, no, this was more of an overall technique change, but there'll be a few tactical things probably changed from Brisbane with the extra bounce to Adelaide.